please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Well, it is still red across global markets, but things are just about recovering. CNBC Asia spoke to Citi's Mohammed Apabhai to get a detailed insight into what big brokerages like Citi are advising their clients to do after the last 5 days of market fall.
What we're advising our clients is this is where at those levels you'd be happy to roll down protection. I think what happens down there is you'd actually start seeing credit spreads widening out. So right now it's very much equity related. We're concerned about volatility. We've got some indicators which are flashing at their highest levels since the 2012 European credit crisis, which indicates that credit here is a very good risk reward from a short perspective, even against equities. So what we'd be looking to see is equities falling down to the regions that I mentioned earlier on. You'd start to see credit widening out. We think Fed fund futures for Jan 2019 actually are starting to look quite attractive. This is really what the market is concerned about, whether there really is a Powell put or not. And remember, every single time there's been a new Fed governor, the average fall in the market has been about 15%.
For some earnings reactions, then Manappuram Finance is on our radar after the company posted an operationally weak Q3. The AUM growth, though, has remained a bit muted this quarter, and the MFI asset quality has deteriorated. Kapil Krishnan, the CFO of Manappuram Finance, now joins in. Mr. Krishnan, good afternoon, sir. Thanks very much for joining in. I want to actually start by talking about the gold disbursements, where we have seen quite a sharp uptick. You think this is a trend that may likely continue henceforth?
Yes, actually this was a quarter where we saw a good pickup in demand, and that also resulted in the growth in the AUM. As you may have noted that our sequential growth is almost double of the market, and after the 3 quarters of decline post demonetization, we had a flat quarter in Q2, and now the growth is back on track to our earlier guidance of 10 to 15% growth in the gold loan and 20% overall.
Yeah, but AUM is not growing. I mean, at least not year on year wise. Yeah, quarter on quarter it's up.
Yeah, that's right. See, year on year there was a lot of seasonality that affected us because of demonetization. So the correct way to see our performance would be Q on Q, which would show the improvement that has happened.
But year on year, see, seasonality, if anything, would have actually been a low base. A year ago, it should actually have worked in your favor. So that's why I was a little concerned that year on year it doesn't seem to have grown. In fact, gold AUM is down.
No, I will explain it. Yeah, I will explain that. Basically what happened is that the demonetization, as you know, happened somewhere in the middle of Q3 last year.
Yeah.
And the full impact takes some time, right? Because the loans mature over a period of time. So we did not have any impact last year in Q3 and even in Q4, in fact.
Okay.
So the base is higher last year. That is why year on year may not be the right way.
And then when you come to the NPAs in your MFI portfolio, I know that portfolio is small, but you've restated even previous NPA, and it's also gone up.
No, see, we consistently provide above the RBI requirements. We have provided, in fact, almost over 20 crores more than what the RBI stipulates. And we did not even avail of the dispensation that RBI had provided last year in March. Now, this year sequentially, the NPA provision has been almost little flat at around 30 crores. But going forward, we feel now that the NPA provision is going to decline, because all NPAs are coming from disbursements that were pre-demon.
Okay.
All disbursements post Jan are performing very well. In fact, collected over 99%.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, in your previous meeting, you all took the decision to, it was a board meeting on investments. What is the outcome? Are you all going to do any buying of any company? What was the outcome of after that meeting?
Yeah, so basically there has not been any specific outcome. We had discussed some investment options that the company can make. They are still not finalized. They are still at an initial discussion stage. So therefore, we don't have anything to announce as yet. And moment something is firmed up, we will definitely be announcing that. But there is, I mean, there's nothing that we have to announce right now, so to say.
But you have appointed Gautam Narayan, the partner at Apex, in your as one of your additional directors. So should we expect something soon?
No, so Apex owns around 6% of our company.
Okay.
And they have a long-term interest. As you know, they are long-term investors. So they expressed interest to be as part of our board, and we welcomed them on board. Okay. I don't think that should be seen as linked to that board meeting.
Oh, I see. No, I mean not that you would be looking at a fintech company or whatever that Gautam Narayan specializes in. We were only wondering if that would make it easier for you to look for partners.
No, definitely his, you know, the kind of muscle power that Apex has will help us in any large acquisition that we may ever think about, in case that suits their strategy as well.
Okay.
But as of now, that's not on the horizon. And we are looking at various fintech investments or, you know, strategic buyouts. So that's what we had discussed. Okay. And they are still under discussion stage.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Himanshu Gupta, Mr. Kapil Krishnan, thank you very much for joining us. It's raining exclusives here at CNBC TV18. We learn from sources now that Blackstone is in talks to buy a stake in the SPV holding Indiabulls Real Estate's commercial assets. Anisha, who found the story, who has broken the story for us, is with us. Tell us, Anisha Jain, what have you heard?
Well, yes, Tata, we understand from sources that Blackstone is looking to invest into Indiabulls real estate business, and the structure of the deal is going to be that the commercial assets of Indiabulls real estate will be put into a SPV, and then Blackstone would probably hold a minority stake in that particular special purpose vehicle and not the holding company. Remember, the commercial assets of the company have been doing well, and that's the reason others like Brookfield and GIC have also shown interest in this particular transaction. But we understand that Blackstone is what is leading the fray, and they expected to put in the equity valuation of around 500 million into the company, and they would hold a minority stake in the commercial asset portfolio. So clearly it looks like this particular deal is going to fructify really soon. In fact, we sent out the emails to both the companies, Blackstone as well as Indiabulls, to get their comments, but they haven't really replied to our queries yet. But overall, it does look like this deal is going to happen soon. Back to you.
All right, Anisha, thanks very much for that. And the stock sitting at the high point of trade, up 6% now. But over to Manisha Gupta for a check on all that's making news in the commodity space. Manisha.
Thank you so much for that, Sumaira. Plenty is making news in the commodity space, but I want to bring your attention to the kind of declines that we are headed for with this weekend. For this week, rather. Take a look at the crude oil prices, and we are 9% off from 2018 highs. And when you look at this week, we are down 7% for both of those varieties. Apart from the sell-off in global equity markets, the strength in US dollar, it also has to do with the pickup and in production in US. Iran saying that they are laying out increase in production for the next 5 years as well. So all of those factors really have been weighing onto that space. Precious metals is no different. You have 0.5% decline in gold. That could have gained because of the safe haven buying, but we haven't seen that happen. And even more decline is what we are seeing in silver, down 5% for that in this week till time. The base metal prices has been yet another area where you have seen 3 to 5% of a cut coming in as well. Lead, which hit a 6-year highs in the previous week on the winter battery demand, also has given way to profit taking. And almost everything is down as on your screens, as you can see. This actually is the biggest weekly decline in last 1 year that we have seen come in for the base metal prices. The only green on the screen really is for the steel and the iron ore prices. So the ferrous metals actually have done well. So you have 0.5% up on steel, and iron ore prices, they gained 1% today and are up 5.5% for this week till time. Himanshu Gupta of Karvi Comtrade then joins us to talk more about that. Himanshu, hi. What is your sense? The week clearly hasn't or doesn't seem to be ending quite well. Anything that you're picking up on a long or a short side for the coming week now?
Well, good afternoon, Manisha. Well, clearly this has been a roller coaster week for equities and commodities. To talk about gold specifically, the asset is actually dealing with a mixed set of fundamentals. At one point, there is a higher dollar and higher benchmark yields in the US, but at the same time, there are safe haven buying coming in at the lower levels. We expect gold prices more or less have reached to their support levels after slipping nearly $60 from the in the international market. So we expect gold prices to trade firm hereafter, and one should be looking to buy these declines around $1,300.
Anything that you're picking up in the base metal as a space? Because almost everything there also has given way to profit-taking. Speculative positions have been unwinding. Anything where you see stronger fundamentals now?
Well, from a trading perspective, we see some more downside in the copper. The way the inventories have picked up nearly 75% in the last 3 weeks, we expect it to make some further pressure in the prices. And in the short term, prices are vulnerable to switch towards $6,700 per ton on the LME. So from a trading perspective, one can remain short in copper at MCX for a target in 432, 434. But from a medium term perspective, I think the steel ingredients like nickel and zinc still remain strong, and this decline is a buying opportunity. The way we have seen the shipment of steel making raw materials increasing by 19% in China as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Himanshu and Manisha. And while we wind down on HTR, I want to say that we three women have been extremely lucky for the markets. The mid-caps are about to break into the green.